Yep, it all happens up Maxwell's line. But today, 31st of May 1988, we're going to look at this refuse disposal. So down in this area we've got quite a bit of industry, but the one we're looking at mainly today is the Awapuni refuse tip. And it's operated by Gary Templeton. It has been now for some years. And what used to be a hollow has become a great mountain of refuse, covered over frequently and kept in a pretty tidy order by Gary and his staff. And the City Council have let this contract to the right man for the right job. Hundreds and hundreds of tons of refuse per day comes up into this tip head here, and it's got to be controlled. Seems significant that everything that's thrown away is worth nothing, and yet it needs hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment to keep it all in good shape and tidy order. And it looks like it could be Gary up there now with his D8. So Gary with the Caterpillar D8K, giving a real big push, moving the rubbish right up, compacting it at the same time. He reckons he gets this rubbish compacted down to at least half the size of it was when it comes into the place. Time he gets the dozer and the loader and then the compactor through it. The outsized blade, wide tracks and the ripper on the back does a bit of work occasionally to move things about. Is coming in by private people, contractors, container bins and whatnot. The Michigan 75B is keeping on laying a firm ground there so that the people coming in don't get stuck in the rubbish. Keeps a good firm bed on it. Today is not a very busy day, but you want to see it on the weekends when every man and his dog comes out and they get their trailer stuck and they get stuck underneath the Caterpillar, the lot. It's real good fun. Up on top, right in with it now. Tough work on our tractor. refuse around about as hard as you can get. You need a good tractor to do it. And I can feel the ground moving around underneath me as well. There's the man himself. Gary Templeton.
How you going there, Tim?
G'day Gary, how are you?
Not too bad.
Busy boy today.
Yeah, it's really busy.
Tell me, what are you up to? You've been doing a bit of pushing there. Let's just get from the word go. The people bring the rubbish out. What do we do with it from there?
Well, it's dropped at the bottom of the face there, and we normally use the loader just to push it back into the bottom, just to save the D8, you know, truck running here.
That's the Michigan's you got there.
Michigan, and then when we get enough there, we take it up with the D8 and roll it around, push it around a bit, and then the compactor sort of finishes it off there.
Driving over here, Gary?
Oh, it's a young fellow who works for me, Dion Severinson.
Oh, yeah. Looks like he likes working on machines, does he?
Yeah, he's always liked it on machines, and they're good giving him a job here, and he's, you know, a pretty good boy, so it's worked out pretty good.
And the compactor there, tell us all about it. What is it?
Well, it's an 816 Caterpillar landfill compactor with the chopper blades on the wheels, specially designed for tip work. It weighs 18 tonne, and it's 170 horsepower, 3306 engine in it. It's got a 13-foot blade on it, spreader blade, just for refuse.
Now, do you use that blade a lot, or is it mainly just the compacting you use it for?
Well, mainly the wheels do most of the work, but the blade sort of, you know, you can use it for trimming up and that, and you can push a wee bit of soil around for cover at the end of the day, but they're not made to push a great volume of earth, you know. So it's really strictly a compactor, you know.
So this one would be the main thing for getting the refuse down to a pretty small size. You said earlier probably about half the size of when it comes in as your best compacting.
It definitely crushes it down, and I still say, you know, with the D8 being 44 tonne and the compactor 18, the compactor would be putting it down twice the amount to what the D8 would put it down.
Is that right?
So,
so it only weighs about a third of the weight of the D8K, and does twice the job.
Yeah, well, it definitely puts it in, you know, you can put nearly twice the amount of stuff in, I reckon, over a day when you look at it. With the 8 working on here on its own, the space will come up 3 or 4 feet over the day, and this machine, you know, is probably 2 feet of that.
So Gary, we've got the City Council coming in here, and I take it they've got a fair bit to do with this. The actual contract is let for 5 years by the City Council, and you're contracted to keep the tip in order. And what's this coming in now?
It's just road excavation fall off a roadworks in town, Tim. Unfortunately, we don't get enough all the time, but you've got to make good use of it when you get it.
So the City Council are responsible for bringing in all the fill, and you get a little bits from here and there, but mainly it's the City Council that have to bring the fill in.
That's right, mainly the council, yeah. And overall a day we probably could use, you know, probably a couple of 100 metres, but we don't, unfortunately don't get that amount each day, so you just sort of got to save a bit and use a bit, you know, when you can.
So the idea is that you compact this down as hard as you can and just cover over at the end of the day with a little thin piece of earth, as little as you can spare, but as much as you can do a good job with.
That's dead right, yeah. With the 816, you don't use as much spoil where rolling it with the D8 you lose a lot more in the humps and hollows that you don't get sort of.
So the 816 is a great asset to keeping this compacted down and using as little fill as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
And just by the look of it, there looks to be about $350,000 worth of machinery you've got around here to keep in control everything that everyone's throwing out.
Yeah,
it's worth nothing, and you've got to have a whole lot of machines to get it in there.
Yeah, well, you know, you've got to, I believe, you've got to have good gear. I couldn't afford to buy new gear. In some ways I could have, but the gear I've got I think is good enough for the job and fairly reliable, so as long as you maintain it, you get a good run out of it, you know.
I've heard it said that rubbish dump work is about as hard as you can get on machines. Would that be right?
Yeah, dead right, and it's very abrasive, people don't think it is. They think you're only pushing around paper and stuff, but you're in wire and mud, and you get wire ropes and things hooked up, and track gear is very hard on track gear, especially chains and sprockets and the rollers on the machine. So I think you'd probably get half the life out of track gear on a tip from what you'd get if you were just on ordinary site works or road works and moving earth.
Gary, this D8, tell us a bit about it. Where's it come from? How old is it?
Well, it was a White Pippy iron sand machine, which I bought through golf. White Pippy owned it for 5 years and done 13,000 hours in 5 years with it, because they used to work 2 12-hour shifts out there, which was probably good in lots of ways because the motors were always warm on them and they were a well-maintained machine. I had
what's the power of it?
300 horsepower.
And the motor in there?
6-cylinder engine. It's 44 tonne all up with the blade and rippers on it. And
do you use the rippers very much?
No, well, the rippers were put on because they had another buyer for it, but they turned it down when the money side come up, and originally had a winch on it, you see, from White Pippy, and it was changed over to rippers, but the bloke didn't want it, so I took it. But with the rippers off, and just with the blade on the front, it'd be too heavy on the front, so we've left them on there to balance it.
Oh, I see, so it's more just counterweighting the whole deal.
And it's got the U blade on it, which is ideal for this job.
And you've put those extensions on the blade, have you?
Yeah, we put the frame on top because, you get a lot of stuff coming over the front and you don't want to go damaging radiators and things.
Yeah. And the wide tracks are not standard either?
Well, you can have 28s, or you can get right down to 22s, I think, but the 28s are better for this job because in the winter where you get the mud and that, keeps the machine out of the bog and doesn't churn the ground up so much for the traffic. Also protects all the track guards at the bottom too, so keeps the refuse away from those track guards and things you can see there.
Yeah. And the Michigan over here, Gary, what's the deal there?
Yeah, well, that was an ex-Fielding City Council machine which was in the Fielding Tip from brand new, and I bought that after I bought the D8, but I thought, well, it's going to be a good tool just to push into the bottom of the face with, and it saves the D8 a lot of running, and that's what you've got to look at today. And also we can use it for carting a bit of metal around, a bit of soil, and picking the odd thing up, So it might look a lot of gear sitting around, but you've got to have it, otherwise you just can't do the job.
So really, you've got a pretty good team full of gear here to handle just about everything that comes in onto the Palmerston North refuse disposal area.
Yeah, definitely. The D8, it's got a gear and it handles all the heavy stuff, and a lot of people have said that buying a big machine like that's not the way to go, but for the hours it does, I think if I had a smaller one of these 6 or even a 7, it would be doing twice the hours. And it's doing it that much easier than a smaller machine too.
So one day, Gary, you're going to run out of room here, and it rather looks as though there's a development plan going on. But just as we're sweeping the camera around here, what the devil's going on over the back there?
Over there, Tim, is the army, and I think some of our money is probably getting wasted over there, which...
What are they, burying money?
Well, I don't know about burying it, but they're wasting it, I know that. And that's army, that's the training that they do, and that goes on just about every day of the week, every week of the year sort of style. And they shift metal from one end of the beach and take it up the other end and level it out, and what they're achieving I don't know. They'd be better off probably if they'd done a job somewhere else for someone and got something out of it.
Oh yeah, oh well, someone's got to do it, I suppose. Okay, so now we're moving on to the new development area here, and tell us all about this one, Gary.
Well, over here, as you can see, they've diverted the Mungani, they're diverting it now.
That's in that little bit in behind the cat scraper there, is it?
Yeah, that's right. The river is going to come through there, the Mungani, from the bridge and curve around there.
And that's being diverted from just down in here where we can see that sweep.
And that's just to get that extra space, and we'll be coming down off the end over there where this part of the roadway goes, where I've got to bring metal up at the moment. That's the crack picking up the river metal. We're going to widen that out and come back down and around there and start right up in this end piece here.
So the public will actually be coming in from over here on this little roadway, and they're moving across on that table.
That's right.
And starting to drop their rubbish. How long is it before that'll be happening, Gary?
Well, they hope to get it going in the next probably 6 or 7 months. So hopefully we'll be down there by then. And they hope to get about 10 to 12 years out of it down here, but I can't see 10 to 12 years myself. I reckon about 8 probably.
And who's on this contract down here? Tell us about it.
Wares are doing that. They've got a 613 motor scraper here just in front of us.
That's the self-loader one there.
Yeah, elevator, about 11 yarder I think. V8 engines, 200 horsepower roughly. Over the other side there you've got two Moxie dump trucks. So you can see the newer one on the right hand side there. They've actually got 3 of them. The other one's on.
Oh, they're the ones from Sweden, are they?
That's the ones, yeah. Powered by a 270 horsepower Scania.
And something trick about the drive on those. You say the front and rear axles drive all the time, and if you want to, you can hook in the middle one.
Yeah, there's a foot pedal on the floor there. You just press, and if they start to skid and bulge and stuff, you just put the centre axle in, and when the load comes off, it disengages automatically. So I think the Cat make one the same, so they seem to be fairly successful. And the other machine here on the right, the 955 track loader with a clamshell bucket on it. I think that's actually Robin Ware himself driving it.
Yep.
And he seems to be carting a bit of wet stuff up on the top there that they maybe can't shift with the other machine. And the 225 excavator loading over there on the dumper as well.
So it's actually on the diversion part of the river at the moment.
They're just about to let it through there, I would say. They're sort of digging that last piece out.
Busy boys going on down there.
Yeah, yes. So the only thing that worries me is the race course. It's getting pretty close to there, as you can see, Tim.
Yeah, come to think of it, the race course is over there.
Yeah.
Right in behind us.
The race course used to own the land. The council originally owned the land, then sold it, and somehow had it back again, and then turned around and got it back off the race course. But I don't think the race course sort of knew what they were going to be in for, but we'll have to see what happens when the time comes.
Yeah, I guess you'll have to build a fence sometime.
Well, they're going to put a big fence along the back there, but you know, there's going to be a lot of trouble with stuff flying around too, so
yeah,
it's going to have to be done a lot better than what we're probably doing it now. But with the extra fill we'll have down here, bits and pieces, it should be able to be done better too.
Good. So there's the future of the refuse disposal around Palmerston North. A few more years in it yet. How many years do you reckon it'll take you to do it, Gary?
Well, as I say, they reckon 12 years, something like that, but I don't think we'll get it out of it myself. But they do hope to bring this up to the heights of the tip here and then go over the top of the whole area again, but it's going to be a big hill when it's finished, and one of the reasons why they want to stay here is the cost of shifting somewhere else out to Okiatri into the gullies, and you know, they'll probably be talking $1 million to shift and another $1 million to set it up, so you know what councils are like when it comes to money. They don't want to...
No, never heard of that one.